A very warm good morning to everyone. Welcome back to the Science Online class. Let us start a new lesson, Finding Fossils, page 94 to 95. Lesson objective: to discuss about fossils and their rocks. To explain the formation of sedimentary rocks. Open page number 94 in your textbook. Fossil finds. It's the end of a hot, dusty day in Dikika, Ethiopia. Scientist Serisene Elam Sajid and his team have spent weeks looking for early human fossils. They have found fossilized otter bones and elephant bones. Have you heard about otter? Otter is a fish-eating mammal with elongated body. This is a picture of an otter. I believe all of you know about elephant. And this is his picture. Surely humans could have lived here too. Suddenly, someone spots a small fossil face in a dusty slough. It has a smooth brow and short canine teeth. The face is human. For 5 years, Serisene studies the evidence. He works out the skull and the other nearby bones probably belong to a 3-year-old girl. He names her Selam. She almost certainly walked upright like modern humans. Serisene is a scientist who studied fossils in order to understand the life existed prior to us. A geologist investigates the rocks under Selam. Evidence from the rocks shows that she lived by a river. Fossilized nails in nearby sandstone rocks show that the river flowed into a lake with sandy beaches. Selam had plenty to eat and drink. This is a skull of Selam. Many of Selam's fossilized bones were in a big lump of rock made from sand and pebbles. This shows that Selam probably died in a river flood. Fast-flowing water carried with it lots of pebbles and sand which quickly covered her body before predators could move her bones away. The geologist measures the age of the rock. It tells us that Selam died about 3,300,000 years ago. Her fossils are an important contribution to the story of humans. Other fossils tell us about other ancient animals and plants. Their rocks tell us when they lived and what their environments were like, and so give clues about their lives. Let us answer the textbook questions. Why did Serisene think early humans might have lived in Dikika? It's because the habitat was suitable for animals like otters and elephants because they found the remains of otters and elephants there. So it could probably also support the human life. Question number 2. How do we know when Selam died? The geologists measured the age of the rock the fossils were found in. This is how they can find when Selam had died. Question number 3. How did the geologists find out about Selam's environment? The geologists studied the rocks around the fossils to find out about Selam's environment. What makes a fossil? How fossil is formed? Okay, an animal or plant dies. It falls onto mud or sand. Then more mud or sand buries the body. Soft parts like fish, flesh, skin, they all of the body will rot away. It will decay. Then only the bones and teeth will be remaining. The mud or the sand will become rocks over millions of years. Then hard minerals may replace the hard parts of the body. Later these rocks around the fossil, it will go away. Then the fossil is exposed. Let us see a video to see the formation of fossils.
What is a fossil? A fossil is the preserved remains or imprint in a rock of a plant, or animal, usually one that lived a long time ago. Many of the fossils discovered so far are ancestors of organisms living today, whilst some fossils are the remains of organisms that still exist. The study of fossils is called paleontology. The total number of fossils and their placement within rocks is known as the fossil record. Much of what we understand about evolution comes from studying fossils, so they are really important. But how do they form? When animals or plants die, their remains usually decay to nothing. It is only if the conditions are right that they can be preserved as fossils. The best way to create a fossil is to trap and quickly bury a dead organism. The dead remains of animals and plants that fall to the river or sea floors get covered in layers of sediment. Over time, this sediment sinks, as it is buried deeper by increasing layers. Meanwhile, minerals permeate through the sediment and gradually recrystallize the non-decomposed remains. This process is called permineralization. In some cases, the whole skeleton eventually dissolves, leaving a space in the sediment which becomes filled with mineral deposits in the exact shape of the original structure. In this way, a cast of the original structure is created. Eventually, the pressure exerted on the lower layers of sediment is sufficient to turn it into rock. Millions of years later, this rock may rise to the Earth's surface, where erosion and earthquakes eventually expose the fossil. While
Let us learn about sedimentary rocks. Hope you remember about igneous rocks. How sedimentary rocks are formed? They are formed when pieces of sand, mud, or dead plants and animals settle into layers and harden into rock over millions of years. The layers are called strata. Most fossils are found in sedimentary rocks. Why is it no good to look for fossils in igneous rocks? As you know, igneous rocks are formed from magma. The animals and plants cannot live in that magma. Sedimentary rocks. The picture shows 4 strata. Strata means, as I already told you, this strata refers to layers. The bottom layer formed first. This is the first layer. A is the bottom layer, and this layer was formed first. So the fossils in this layer are the oldest. The fossils show which animals and plants were around when the rock was formed. Okay, there are 4 layers or strata: A, B, C, and D. The question number 4 is, which of these strata was last to form? Of course, D, because it's the topmost layer, so it was the last to form. The first form was A, then B, then C. The last to form was D. Sedimentary rock properties. Most sedimentary rocks are less hard than typical igneous rocks. They are usually porous. I already explained you about porous in the last lesson. Okay, the structure of sedimentary rock explains these properties. They are made of grains. The grains are held together less strongly than the crystals in igneous rocks. There are small spaces between the grains. Gases or liquids fill the spaces. Question number 5. Explain why most sedimentary rocks are porous and igneous rocks are not. Most sedimentary rocks are porous because they are made of grains. There are spaces between the grains. Most igneous rocks are not porous because when they were formed, there were no gaps between their interlocking crystals. I will send you the notes along with the video. Please write the notes in the notebook and submit on or before 6 April, Monday. Study well. Thank you very much.